the former commander of the naval base at Guantanamo Bay, has been indicted on federal charges of obstruction of justice related to the January 2015 death of a base employee who had confronted the officer with allegations that he was having an affair with his wife. Christopher Turr was found drowned in the waters of Guantanamo Bay 2 days after confronting Captain John Nettleton about the alleged affair. Navy Capt. Mass Communications Specialist 3rd Class Jacob Goff. U.S. John R. Nettleton, commanding officer of Naval Station Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, delivers remarks during a Battle of Midway commemoration ceremony. Nettleton was arraigned Wednesday at the federal courthouse in Jacksonville, Florida, exactly 4 years to the day that Turr disappeared following the confrontation and subsequent fight between the two men. Moore, Navy commander at Guantanamo Base, fired amid alleged affair, suspicious death. At the time, Nettleton was the commander of Naval Station Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. Nettleton's command did not include the detention facility at the base that is overseen by a one-star flag or general officer. Turr was a civilian employee of the commissary on the base. According to the indictment, on the night of January 9, 2015, Turr confronted and yelled at Nettleton at a party at the officers' club with allegations that the naval officer had had an affair with his wife. A short time later, Turr went to Nettleton's nearby residence and the two men engaged in a physical altercation that left her injured. Laura. Investigators found texts from Nettleton's daughter, the only other person in the residence at the time, describing a loud commotion in the house. When she went to investigate, she saw an unknown man hovering above her father, who was lying on the floor, attempting to use a cell phone. The person that Turr phoned told investigators that Turr had told him he was at the skipper's house and just knocked out the skipper. Nettleton's daughter's texts described loud arguing and fighting that lasted for another half-hour. The next day, Navy personnel went looking for Turr after he had not returned home. Turr's body was found on January 11 floating in Guantanamo Bay after an intensive search at the base. An autopsy determined he had drowned but had suffered fractured ribs and a laceration on his head. From the moment the search for Nettleton began and throughout the subsequent investigation, he did not mention to base personnel, investigators or his superior officer that Turr had last been seen at his home. He falsely claimed that he had last weaned Turr at the officers' club. He also did not disclose that Turr had accused him of engaging in an affair with his wife, engaged in a physical fight at his home, and that Turr had been injured. Investigators later determined through DNA testing that blood stains found at Nettleton's home belonged to Turr. They also determined that Nettleton and Laura Turr had engaged in an affair in 2014. 3 weeks after Turr's disappearance, Nettleton was relieved of command and placed in an administrative job in Jacksonville pending the results of a joint Naval Criminal Investigative Division and Justice Department investigation. Official who said information had come to light during the investigation into Turr's death had led the Navy to relieve Nettleton of command. ABC News cited a U.S. The officials said the investigation found that Nettleton had allegedly been having an affair with Turr's wife Laura, the director of the Fleet and Family Services Center at the base.